Hello, entrepreneurs, designers, digital nomads, and business gurus. Welcome to this circle demo, 5 things to know about courses. I am Sam Z, one of your community managers, and so excited here today to share this with you. As a note, that what you're getting here today is a little bit of a sneak preview. So please do not promote these products on social media or any other channels till the official launch of August 21st. We just launched courses to the Circle community on August 7th, as you may know. But if you haven't had a chance to play around with this new tool, totally fine. That's what we're here today for. We're going to be sharing with you some tips and tricks. In fact, 5 things that you need to know to get started with courses. And this is going to be covered by our special guest today, Senior Product Manager Adam Parks. But right now in the chat, our friend Taylor Lagoy is going to be saying hello to you and sharing some resources for you. So look out for her name. And also, it looks like a lot of people are sharing where they're joining from. So feel free to let us know. It's always great to see where members of our community are from. And I actually have a question that I want to start out with. So you can answer this in chat. If you could launch an online course tomorrow, what would it be about? I was just thinking about this morning. I do a lot of meditation. I meditate every single day, and that's something that I think that a lot of other people could benefit from. So, and I know there's a lot of people in my community who could benefit from it. I think I should probably set up that course tomorrow on courses. But what are we talking about when we're talking about courses? Basically, courses are the business hiding inside of your business. So what that means is, can mean a lot of different things to different people, but to kind of explain this to you, I thought it'd be good to share a clip from a recent episode of Circle Live where we spoke with a courses building expert, Puno from I Love Creatives. And in this video, Puno explains how she discovered that there were people in her community who wanted to learn from a skill that she had, which was building sites on Squarespace. So let's take a listen.
It was because I was a Squarespace design freelancer, and I got to the point where I was making a good amount of money, but I was like not being able to handle the amount of work. And so I needed to hire a junior designer, Squarespace designer specifically, put it on I Love Creatives because I had I Love Creatives at that time. And at that time, we didn't do courses. It was more like a Craigslist for creative people. We had creative profiles. And then about 100 people applied, and I went through every single portfolio, and I felt like it wasn't hitting it. And I was like, oh, but like these 100 people are on I Love Creatives applying, taking their time to apply to this job, and I want them to get this job. And so that's when I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna do this. And then that was the first course. Because like I told you, like now we had over 3,000 students, so it worked out. But I didn't plan for that, and I didn't think that that was going to be I Love Creative's future. We are 100% doing it now. Like we're calling ourselves now the new digital trade school.
Right. So Puno saw that there was a gap in knowledge in her community, and she knew that she had that knowledge. So she filled it with an online course. By the way, if you want to view the full Circle Live interview with Puno, Taylor, our friend, is going to be sharing the link to the forum post with the complete video in the chat, so you can watch that whole thing. It was a great conversation. I'll also add that maybe you're not creating a course for yourself. Maybe you're interested in creating it for a client. That's also something that you can do with courses. As a matter of fact, we just opened up courses to Marketplace. That means that clients can now hire marketplace experts to help them create their course on Squarespace. Um, this is going to be linked in product. So if you are a marketplace expert and you want to start offering this service, you can add it to your 99 Designs profile now. For more information on that marketplace edition, you can find the marketplace guide in the knowledge base, which Taylor is also going to share right now. But whatever course you want to make, you find out who the people are in your community who want that course. And now with Squarespace Courses, it's an easy way to bring the awesome design of Squarespace to the people in your community who need that knowledge. I'm just curious to see what kind of courses people are thinking that they would want to make. It looks like some people have launched some courses already. Of course, people have launched courses about Squarespace, I bet. Brian has some clients wanting to teach a course on children's book illustration. Let's see, we've got Janine is wanting to launch a course on luxury witchcraft. I don't know what luxury witchcraft is, but I want to know everything about it. I'm very curious. But the main reason that you all are here right now is to talk about and learn about what the actual courses demo looks like. So we boiled down courses into 5 essential things that you need to know to start building in this new platform. And now here to show you what that looks like is Adam Parks. Hey, Adam, welcome to Circle Demos.
Hey, Sam. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So excited to have you. So the thing, I think, before we even start with these 5 important things, there's one sort of big important thing that you wanted to start with, which is that digital products is changing.
That's right. Digital products is a new term that we're introducing with the launch of courses. It now encompasses the suite of tools that we provide to merchants to help them monetize their website content. Now that includes courses, it includes video libraries, and it includes member areas, which are being renamed to member sites as part of this launch. We're also introducing the concept of pricing plans with this launch, and I'll get into a little more about that later.
Can't wait to hear more about it.
Yeah, so each of these digital products is a little different, and I think that leads us right into thing 1 to know, Sam.
Absolutely. Head right into it.
Cool. So courses are our newest offering and what we're going to demo today. They're probably what you expect when you think of online courses. A way to structure sequential content. It's usually heavily video-based, and it's a prepackaged curriculum that students can purchase as a set. They don't technically enforce a sequential learning path, but that's the use case they're designed for. Video libraries are one of our existing offerings that allow creators to sell video catalogs directly. These are different from courses in that they're not built around sequential learning. Users with access can watch videos in any order, often multiple times. So think about the user who wants to log in and take their core focused yoga class every Monday that they purchased. We sometimes talk internally about the difference between a course and a class, and these are our solution for classes. Member areas are our oldest product, and were conceptualized as an open-ended tool to create members-only content. Historically, this has been the only way to monetize our digital content. We originally built this product thinking that it would primarily be used for paid communities, but we've seen all kinds of innovative uses. Almost immediately, people figured out how to build a course inside a member area. They used member areas to monetize video libraries before we made that explicitly available. And we've even seen some pretty crazy things like people using member areas to create gated stores so that they could offer wholesale prices on products to wholesalers. Member areas remain our catch-all digital product offering due to their flexibility. However, what we've observed since launching member areas is that users use them for 2 things. The actual content that they're making available to members, and also as a monetization mechanism. Well, with this release, we're keeping all the member area content 100% intact, but pulling it out into what we're now calling a member site, and separating the monetization functionality to a new concept called a pricing plan, which applies to all digital products. As part of this launch, all legacy member areas will automatically get migrated to this new system with no impact to your content or users. All right, Sam, that was a very brief introduction to the full digital product suite. Now I think we can move into the courses demo that we're all here for. I'm happy to take questions about member sites or video collections in the Q&A at the end.
Yes, definitely. Everybody, we will be doing a Q&A at the end, so we'll be watching for your comments and questions. But Adam, let's learn about how to add a course to your site.
Absolutely. So this should be pretty straightforward. If you've already added a course during the Circle early access period that started last week, then you know that courses is just a new collection type. And it's not that fundamentally different from our other collections. There is an overview or landing page and items, in this case, lessons. Courses can be added to your site from the Add a Page Plus in the Pages panel, just like all other collections. I do want to make a quick note here that with the launch of courses, there's kind of several new entry points and services that you can offer your clients around building courses. It's not just putting the content into Squarespace. You can walk them through building an outline, maybe assisted by ChatGPT. You could possibly get involved in the filming and producing of the lesson videos. And then, of course, the bread and butter of this demo, building the course content. Without further ado, let's jump over to a Squarespace site with a new courses collection enabled and talk about thing 3 to know. So I'm going to do some window management, which might take a second or two. All right, so let's imagine you have a client who is a talented makeup artist. You've already helped them build out their site with the services focus, where they offer one-on-one live consultations via our scheduling feature. They've already maxed out their availability and have a growing waiting list. So they cannot currently take on any more work. There's a great opportunity here to create a passive income stream by offering courses that anyone can purchase on their own, watch at home anytime. Your client is ready to get started, and you've helped them film and produce their instructional videos. So as with all collections, a course can be added from this plus on the Pages panel. It can either be in your main nav or unlinked. It's enabled by default. So if you're working on an existing site, you might consider putting it in unlinked until it's ready, which is what we're going to do today with this existing site. When you click to add a course, you are prompted to choose a layout. We currently have 2 different layouts. Once you're not making an irreversible decision here, both of these layouts are entirely customizable, just like other collections. Once you have selected a starting point, your course will be added to your site, and you're going to want to rename it. And then we click into the courses subpanel. You see in here we have a way to add pricing plans. We have this course overview page, which is the landing page for your course. And then we have this where you can click in and edit the content of your course, which is what we're going to do right now. You can see here that we start out with some boilerplate content. You can edit it or you can delete it and start from scratch. Today, we're just going to delete it. One thing to note is that if you delete a chapter, it will delete the lessons in it. So be careful with that. Let's get rid of all of these existing chapters. So assuming you've helped your client create a solid outline for their course, or they came prepared with one already, you can kind of rough in the chapters and lessons you're going to need now. So the first thing we're going to do is add a couple chapters and put a couple lessons in each. We can add thumbnails for the lessons. If you already have a lot of content in your asset library, this becomes very easy. Just open up and pick and add it in there. We're also going to make sure we set this to published as it starts in a draft state. We could also use the scheduling feature to maybe release a class every week in some kind of like drip content. But for now, we're just going to set it to published. So I'm going to keep going through and adding a little more content. Talk amongst yourselves. You can only do this so fast. Pick some nice looking images. Published again. You can see down here, there's also this other way to add in lessons. And one more. And then we should be good to move on. Cool. So now we have the basic structure of our course. If we click into the first lesson, we kind of see the structure of an actual lesson page. We see that this area up here is dedicated for a video, if that's what we want. Note that you can toggle the video off on any or every lesson in a course, and then that way you could create a text-heavy lesson. In this case, we're going to assume that a makeup tutorial is pretty visually heavy, so we are going to add a video in here. Okay, and we're going to take advantage of our asset library and grab one that we already know of. You can see that it appears at the top. Below the lesson, we see that we have the chapter and the lesson title. Below all of that, we see that we can add any Fluid Engine sections from our catalog that we want. Things like buttons to download supplemental materials, product blocks, linking to physical goods from other areas of the site, and more are all possible in every lesson. This is the first collection to incorporate the power of Fluid Engine and sections in the items for the collection, which is a pretty big deal. It opens up a whole lot of ways and flexibility to build your course just how you want. If we add a section, we see that we get access to the entire section catalog, just like we do on any other page. For here, let's add something with a accordion block, knowing that the site owner knows that there are tons of questions that come up around this content, and we can fill that in later. So we save, we have our first lesson kind of built here. So looking back at the course content panel, we can see that lessons are draggable and reorderable. They do not rename automatically, but we can drag them into different chapters. We can completely change the structure of the course. And we can even put a lesson outside of a chapter. So let's say you have a chapter with a group of lessons, and then you have something in the middle where you want to kind of recap everything that happened. You can have a lesson that's sitting on its own outside a chapter. There's lots of flexibility here in how you structure your course. At this point, I'm going to put this back in place real quick. If we click back into the overview page, we see that it has updated down here with the structure that we just created. So the chapters are here. You can fold them. The user can fold them when they take the course. And then we see all the lessons and the lengths of the videos. Also note that the course overview page has the same ability to add Fluid Engine sections and blocks both above and below the main content in this case. So now that we have a complete course on our site, Sam, let's talk a little bit about how we're going to sell it.
So excited, and I'm sure many people here are excited for this part of the presentation as well. How you price your courses?
Absolutely. This is probably the biggest change that we're introducing. It definitely changes the way that member areas work, and it's a totally new concept that we introduced with the launch of courses. So at this point, you can keep the course free and public if that's what your client wanted. Congratulations, you're done. Anybody can take this course. Most of the time, you're going to want to sell these because it does take a lot of time and effort to create them, and your knowledge is valuable. So at this point, we still need to think about pricing and monetizing the course, setting up the paywall page, and then merchandising the course. Let's spend a few minutes going through each of these step by step. So the first step in selling a course is to add it to a pricing plan. In your courses subpanel, you can click into this new pricing plans area. Here you can create a new pricing plan or add it to an existing one. In this case, we're going to create a new one. This editor in here probably looks pretty familiar to a lot of you. It's very similar to what we use to monetize member areas. You know, great. If you don't worry about it, it's fairly straightforward. A pricing plan is essentially the details of how you want to package your course for sale. By default, Squarespace excuse me, assumes that you're just trying to sell the course by itself, but that doesn't need to be the case. Down here, you see the included products. We could add a second course in here and create a bundle right from this screen. You can include up to 10 different products in each pricing plan, and each product can be included in multiple pricing plans across your site. So this opens up the ability to create some of those best value lockups that you see everywhere. Most of the other settings here will be familiar to you if you have used member areas. You can add a list of benefits that show up in the digital product block that we're going to talk about in a little bit. We can do 3 separate forms of pricing. So we can make it free, which is different than a public course. So if you go in here, create a pricing plan and set it to free, this would allow you to have your users need to sign up for an account in order to take the course. So maybe this is kind of an intro course, you set it for free, and then you collect a lot of people that are interested in your content, in your users in your Squarespace site. You can also, like we saw, set it for a one-time payment, or we can add different payment options there. Or in this case, we can do a subscription model. So let's say we want to offer this for $100 a month. We can also add a few different subscription options, and we can do an annual plan with a discount baked in. And what you'll see here is that when we add this to the site, the user will be able to choose which way they want to pay directly from this block. So we're going to go ahead and create this pricing plan. Now we see we have one pricing plan attached to our course. We could add more pricing plans to it and include it in different bundles. We also see that we now have this paywall area. So when we click into that, this is what people will see when they land on the content without access. So if they haven't purchased it yet and they somehow end up on the lesson page in the course, this is what they're going to see. They'll either be asked to log in or create an account, and then they can purchase after that. We have moved this paywall information. This used to be called the access denied screen for member areas. We've moved it in with the content that you're actually paywalling to make it a little more intuitive, and you can customize it for each collection that you're paywalling. At this point, there is one missing link that I've kind of hinted at. We need to actually make it purchasable. So we've built the pricing plan, but we need to make a way for users to actually buy the pricing plan. So we do that by using what we're calling the digital product block, which was formerly known as the member areas block. And we go back out of here and we create, say, a dedicated sales page, or we could just add the block to an existing page. But we do have some staged dedicated sales pages already. So we're going to add one of these from the page picker. Give it a name just like usual. So we see that we have this new digital product block here. It's got this warning because it's not hooked up to anything yet. But if we just go into edit mode and we edit this block, we can point it directly to that new pricing plan that we just created. Now the entire checkout flow is hooked up. Now that we've gone over how to sell courses and other digital products in Squarespace, I think I'd like to go into some changes that we're introducing with the add-on formerly known as member areas. So this will lead us into thing 5, Sam. All right. So a brand new thing that we're introducing here, which we're really excited about, is that every business or commerce website plan can sell digital products. That is a new addition. Formerly, you needed to purchase the add-on in addition to your subscription. We're adding this ability to business plans, Commerce Basic, and Commerce Advanced plans. There are some limitations here. You can see that there is a transaction fee of 9%, which is pretty steep. But this is really designed as a try it before you buy it kind of offering rather than a permanent solution. If users want to see how their course performs before purchasing another subscription from Squarespace, that's fine. They can do that on their business or higher plan for free now. You are also limited to 30 minutes of video hosting. Just to be clear, you can still build a course with third-party video, include as much video content as you want. This just refers to our native hosted video storage. It's totally possible to just use Vimeo or YouTube, and when you add the video, you can just put the link in there like any other video block, and those will show up just fine. There are a couple differences in how that content is treated, but the functionality is 99% the same. So this included on website plan functionality will only get you so far. Like we said, like there's a low video hosting limit and there's a high transaction fee. Sooner or later, you or your client are going to want to lower your transaction fees or get more native video hosting or both. That's where our refreshed add-on plans come in. So you simply attach the digital product add-on to your website subscription, and the new fees and limits will apply. As you can see here, we're increasing the video hosting limits by quite a bit on each tier. I believe they were 5, 25, and 50. Now in the starter, you get 10, in the core, you get 50, and in the pro, you get unlimited video hosting. We're also introducing a 0% transaction fee tier on the pro level, which is something that we've heard from lots of sources that's essential for our most successful customers. If you are selling tons of courses, you really want to be able to get that transaction fee down to 0%, so you're keeping more of your money. And as part of this launch, I just want to note that if you already have the member areas add-on, you'll be upgraded to these new service levels automatically. So that is a quick but complete introduction to courses and how they fit into our new digital products world. Sam, I think we have one bonus thing to know here, right?
Yes. Tell us a little bit about the student experience.
Absolutely. I'm going to do some more window management. I'm going to hop over to a incognito window, so I'm not logged in. We can see that we have that sales page we just created. We see that, again, like we can choose how we want to pay, and we can click the sign up button. So once in here, I'm going to be prompted to either log into my account if I've already purchased things or set up a new account. So in this case, I'm going to create a new account. Once we create that account or log in, we're dropped into the checkout flow. Obviously, this site is in test mode, so we got some fake info here, but this is exactly what your customers are going to see. It's the normal checkout flow for other Squarespace products. So we hit continue, we hit subscribe, and now we have a confirmed order. So we can click on view product here, and that'll take us to what we just purchased. Also, we see, if we look in the account panel, we are going to see some changes in here. So this is the customer account panel. There's this new digital products area, which is where, for now, we're putting access to all the digital products you purchased from the site. Also, so you can see your orders and you can manage your subscriptions if you want to. So if we click into here, we see these two pricing plans that we've bought, or the content that we have access to that's within those pricing plans. So let's say we want to start taking that makeup tutorial that we just saw and we're excited about. We click view from the customer account panel and we're taken to this page. We can click start course here. We could also just click on the first lesson to get started. For now, we're going to hit start course. We're going to end up in the first lesson. So let's say we go through, we read all the content, we watch the video. Also, what you see over here, we have this navigation that is included on every lesson page, so you can jump around, see where you are in the content. We have the progress bar showing up here and on that page I was just looking at. So assuming we watch the video and we're finished with this lesson, we hit complete and continue. We are then taken to the next lesson, which I didn't add a video to, which is why it looks kind of empty. If we look in here, we see that this is updated as a complete lesson. We see that the progress is updated to 25%, or 1 out of 4 of the lessons. And we can keep going through, or we can also go back to the overview page and give it a quick refresh. And we see that this is also updating with your current progress. So at any point, you know where you are in the course, you know what's happened. This progress tracking functionality and that persistent nav on the right, which can be moved to the left, are 2 of the big new features that we've introduced for courses, which kind of make this sequential learning possible. I think that's it from me, Sam. I would love to jump into some Q&A, or if you have any comments before we get started, we can do that.
This is all so slick. Great student experience, and I think great course builder experience. We have a lot of comments and questions from folks. People are really excited about this, Adam, and so we're going to dive right into Q&A. I just want to say I messed up and I didn't turn off the Q&A button in chat, so I'm going to look through both the Q&A section and also in the chat for the questions. But if you have a question, just put it in chat. You don't need to put it into the Q&A. section. I'll still be looking there for anybody who put a question in there. But just from now on, if you have a question, just put it in the chat and I'll bring it up there. This is a question that I saw in Q&A, though, to start with, which is, does everyone see the course overview page, or only people that sign up for the course? What is the point of that page? That's from Lexi.
Yeah, that's a good question. So right now, the course overview page is public. It is kind of, we imagined it as a way to kind of people see what they're going to get before they buy it. It's not necessarily your sales page, but it can act as a supporting page for your sales page. Like I said, you can put sections above and below. You can put testimonials. You can put FAQs around it. But mostly it's like, if you're charging this amount for a course, then it's a way for the user to see what exactly is included, how many lessons, how much video is included. Kind of, they get to see the bang for their buck. I will say that we have had requests to also be able to put that page behind the paywall. So that won't be in for the launch on Monday, but it is something we're working on where you can optionally either hide or show the course overview page, depending on whether they paid.
Got it. Here's one from Justin. Will quizzes be available at launch?
Quizzes will not be available at launch. Again, this is something that is in progress. We're working on it. It was a little tricky. Like it forced us to kind of expand our definition of what an item in a collection is. So it's on the way. It won't be in for launch, but it shouldn't be too far behind.
Got it. So we're working on it. That's great. I know your team has a lot of ideas for the future of courses and a lot of things that's on that list. It sounds like.
Yeah, we learned a lot from the beta we ran. So anybody that was in that, thank you so much. So a lot of these things are coming directly from requests in the beta.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. Circle members are great for giving feedback and helping to develop the product. So Alyssa asks, since this is getting wrapped in digital products, will we still be able to sell a digital download in a regular e-commerce store?
Yeah, so we recognize digital download is now a confusing loaner. It has a weird name. We are talking about possibly bringing that into the digital product sphere. I don't know if any changes that would make to it, but it does kind of feel a little out of place as an e-commerce. But to answer your question, nothing is changing about how digital downloads work with this launch.
Got it. And here's one from Golnar. Can you duplicate a lesson and move it to another chapter?
I want to be 100% sure, so I'm going to check and see exactly what happens when I go into a lesson.
Yeah, let's bring up I'll bring up the demo page. You can do that. You can see it live.
Yes, so you can duplicate a lesson. Amazing. It ends up in a draft state, and then you can put it into wherever you want. So you can try it out.
Awesome. Going back into the Q&A, how do we migrate over our courses that we've already set up as member areas? I think that's probably a manual process right now. Is that right, Adam?
It is a manual process. You're going to need to recreate them as a course collection. Because of the way the data is structured, there's not a clear one-to-one between member areas because they are so flexible and courses which are more structured. The good news is that with the addition of the asset library, like all your videos and images are going to be there. You won't need to upload any new content necessarily, but you will need to create the new course separate from the member area.
Got it. And how much video storage is available for courses? Is it separate from member area storage? Nicole's asking.
Oh, yeah, this is a good clarifying question. So I realized like the member areas world was kind of its own thing, and we hooked all these limits up to the member areas plan. But like I said, we're separating it out into a digital products plan. So the video storage applies to your whole site. It applies to wherever you use the video. So if you get on the Pro plan, you have unlimited video storage. That applies to anywhere you're trying to put a video. Same thing for the 50 and 10-hour tiers. So it's not separate storage levels for the different types of content.
Got a couple of easy answers right here. Yes, this presentation will be available on demand. We'll be sending it up to everybody in the follow-up email. And for Philip's concern about not being able to see this on your 7.1, you have to turn it on in Circle Labs still. So Taylor, if there's any information about Circle Labs, could you share that in the chat? Or
I
Adam,
can
you may
probably
be
show
able to
that.
show you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I have access to the Circle Labs panel in here.
just for people who haven't set it up yet.
Yeah. So this is what it's going to look like. The digital products pre-release flag is the one you want.
Got it.
Do note that once you turn it on, you can't turn it off because you would be left with some stuff in broken state. And the other thing to note is that you're only going to need to do this through the launch on Monday. So once this goes out to everyone, this won't matter anymore. It'll just be live on everybody's site. This is just for the early release period.
And I think I know the answer to this one. Squarespace course is only available in 7.1. Is that right, Adam?
That is correct. A little piece of information that might make that slightly less painful is that we do have a team working on an automatic migration from 7.0 to 7.1 that will hopefully be in a beta in the near future. It won't be available on 7.0. It requires the concept of sections and Fluid Engine to work to make the pages, but hopefully you'll be able to bring your whole site along at some point.
Got it. Got a question from Bridget Baker. So this course just lives on a website, and then I could hide header and footer if I wanted it to be distraction-free? Do you have a good answer for that, Adam?
Yeah, this is just another page and collection on your website. You can currently hide the header and footer with, I think there's a lot of tutorials around about how you can do that with custom CSS or maybe JavaScript. So we don't have a way to, as part of the product, to hide the header and footer right now. But yeah, if you have a way to do that, you can do that on these pages.
And Beatrice wants to know, can you duplicate an entire course if they're selling a similar course with a few changes in them?
Unfortunately, we don't have collection duplication. That applies to all our collections. So you cannot duplicate an entire course.
Got it. But a note for potential improvements in the future. Let's see, the circles beside the chapter lesson list. I'll put the demo back on the screen. Can you explain what those are, Adam?
Sure. These are just an indication of whether or not you've completed this. So if I have completed the lesson, if I click complete and continue on the lesson, this will be filled in. You can also complete or mark, like if you make a mistake, you actually want to go back and take it. The user can check these as they go, and you see the progress updates automatically. So this just fills in with the check mark if you've completed that particular lesson.
And while I have this open, or while you have this open, could you talk about the styling options for courses? Does it have its own palette? Does
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it fits in with the rest of everything on Squarespace in 7.1. So you do have all access to all of these things. On the overview page, we have some options, like if you don't want to show the title, you can hide it. You can hide the lesson thumbnails down in this thing down here. In this case, I did upload them so we can show them. We do have some design options, which are pretty common across the site. Alignment, spacing, things like that. And then, yes, this section, which houses the actual course content, you can apply a different theme to, just like you can with any other section. But that is section specific, like it is for the rest of your page. The same kind of options apply to the lesson pages too.
So cool. Just as an aside, I love that color palette. I don't know who chose that, but it looks great. This is perhaps another idea for just future improvements, but I don't think this exists. Automatic certificates of attendance upon completion of a course.
That doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that has come up. I don't know if it came up through the beta. We have heard that. It's definitely on our radar, but I don't have any kind of timeline for that.
Got it. Cool. But yeah, I know you all are working a lot of exciting stuff, and the more people use courses, the more
Exactly.
evidence we have for people to start making these improvements. So definitely get out there and start designing courses. Let's see, Darren is asking, is there a way to limit the number of signups?
Again, I think I'm gonna check. I might need to get an answer for this question from you afterwards. I don't know this one off the top of my head. Let me see.
Okay. Do a quick check,
that would
and
be,
if we can't get an easy answer, Adam, I'll let people know that will be the link that we send to the follow-up video or the replay video will be a forum post. So you can ask these questions. If we didn't get to your question, there's so many questions, we're not going to get all of them. So if we can't answer this question or you ask another question, we will feel free to put that in the forum post and we'll be on it there.
Yeah, this is what I remembered seeing. So you can limit the dates, but you cannot limit the number of people right now.
Got it. Okay. What other? God, so keep these questions coming, everybody. These are great. Can we have an unlimited number of courses, or is it limited by the plan that they're on?
It is not limited by your plan. I believe this is just limited by the total page limit on Squarespace. I know that I believe it's above 1,000 pages and you start to have trouble loading. But we don't, there's no, like, you're not paying to be able to make more courses. Your limits are the native video hosting if you need that, and then the transaction fee.
Yeah. So if you're starting an online trade school, maybe into a little more than that, but for a regular person starting out with courses, seems like it's that's pretty well equipped. Will PDFs and other assets be protected from anyone being able to download if they have the link? I think the answer to this is the same as any other digital download. It's I think that it's not protected unless you set up a protection on the PDF itself.
That is not. We are working with the asset protection team to get these under that same umbrella that we added for videos, but they are not asset protected yet.
So that's coming. That's an improvement that's coming.
That is in discussion.
That's great.
Because it relies on another team, I can't say for certain that it'll happen, but yeah.
Got it. And will students in an online course have to create an account before they get to the checkout page?
Yes, if they don't have an account. If your content is paywalled, then the user will need to have an account set up before they can purchase it. If you just have a free public course, anybody can access it like another page on your site. But if you put it behind a paywall, even if it's free, then yes, the user will need an account.
Got it. Got it. So if you wanted to do like a trial course or something that people take for free, then you would just set that up as a separate course, upload that content into the free course, and then have the paywalled course behind the paywall in the account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Love talking this course strategy. Got a few questions here from Megan. As courses, some of the member site issues resolved, will we be able to customize the courses checkout specifically and send automations? Can customers update their contact information in their account? Will there be improved security for upload content? Let's go one by one with these. Customizing the course checkout specifically, or does it send automations?
I don't believe you can customize the courses checkout specifically. Automations are still being hooked up. They won't be in there for launch, but I don't think they're that far behind. I'm assuming you're talking about like somebody bought the course, and you want to send them an email saying, welcome to the course. So those kind of automations are on the way. They are close, but I don't know exactly how close. Yeah. The other two, I didn't work on member areas, so I don't know for sure. I know that we recently allowed customers to be able to update their email. I'm not sure if that's specifically what you're talking about, or if there's other areas where they can't update their information. And improve security for uploaded content. We are slowly but surely rolling out that asset protection to different types of assets.
Yeah, like we were just talking about. Yeah. Let's see. Can you lock off future videos so people have to watch each video before they unlock the next video? I think that was what you were talking about with just having different modules, right?
No, so it is still like once they have access to the course, they can view any video, they can view them out of order. Like we don't enforce an order. That is a feature request we've had, but it's not necessarily something that is in the pipeline yet. It is up to the user to be honest and say they're going through it. But I think what I did mention was you can use the schedule feature to only release like one lesson a week, maybe. And that way you could enforce it. We are we are discussing expanding that ability to have more like customizable drip content where like it'll come out for the user after they sign up. Because right now, like you can schedule the lessons in advance, but it's still going to be from like the day you launch the course. So people kind of have to start it in order to get that experience. To answer your question, it's kind of the honor system if you need students to be able to go through in order.
Yeah, I think many digital entrepreneurs here are familiar with that kind of thing, and it sounds like we're also just working on all kinds of improvements and updates to this in the future to make this easier, so that it's less reliant on the honor system. But
just real quick, there are advantages to the way we did it. Like it was in some ways a conscious decision because we allow you to have any kind of content in your lesson. Like there was no way to automatically know if a user had consumed all of that. We can't really know if a user read everything on the page. So it is kind of up to the user to say like, hey, I finished this, I'm ready for the next one.
Totally fascinating getting that insight into your product development conversations. This is maybe a good time to go back to that pricing tier slide that you had, Adam. Kyum was a little confused about the pricing tiers in the presentation, the Biz Plus, Starter, Core, Pro, subscriber options, Personal, Business, Basic, Advanced. It looks like they're seeing something different than what you had here. Do you know much about that?
I do. I think this is just us using internal lingo on an external slide. So Biz Plus here refers to your regular website subscription at the Business, Commerce Basic, or Commerce Advanced level. Starter, Core, and Pro refer to the 3 levels of the add-on. So the column on the left is specifically referring to just a regular website subscription, and all the ones on the right are referring to the new add-on that you would buy extra.
Got it. Thank you for re-explaining that for all of our benefit. I had a question that was upvoted at least once by Sharon. Can you limit access to a set period of time, 90 days, for example? Was that what you were showing before with the limitations for, did you show that before?
I think that was something different.
Okay.
Well, you can limit to a period of time when users can sign up for the course, but you can't limit their access to the course to a period of time right now.
Got it.
Yeah. So we have heard from several people that kind of this rental model for courses where you like it lines up with maybe an academic year and you have access to this for 9 months is something that is wanted. And that's, again, like we've heard that from the community and we're looking into it.
Got it. Can you create courses outside of member areas if you don't need a paywall?
Yes. Courses and member areas are completely separate. You can create a course and just have it be a page on your site. You also can put a course inside a member area and use the member area hooked up to a pricing plan to monetize it. So let's say you have some kind of like access gated content, and as part of that, you want to offer a course. So you can have all the pages that are part of the member area and a course inside that member area, and there can be one price that people pay for access to all that content. So they're not connected. So we did split the monetization from the member areas. They're no longer directly linked.
Awesome. Can we require course progression where they must complete lesson one before they can progress to lesson two? How does that work, Adam?
I think we answered this a few minutes ago. Yeah, we can't enforce that right now.
Yeah.
We have heard it, but it's a tricky one on our end.
And included in the business online store? Not.
Yeah, I think I need a little more info on this. You can't put a course as like a product in like a regular Squarespace shop page, if that's what you're asking. Like the course is monetized separately as its own thing.
Yeah, but I think with the digital products block, you can get creative, and I've done this before. You can get creative with adding different blocks on a page. So you can add like a
Right.
store collection on a page so that you're selling the products from your store on the same page as like digital products page. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that I've just discovered in my own side hustle designing Squarespace sites. Let's see. We've got time for just a couple more questions. This is another pricing question. Is this connected with our existing plans, or is this a new add-on fee? I think this is an extra add-on to an additional site subscription.
It is extra in the same way that the member areas add-on is extra. If everybody in here has access to the Squarespace forums, there's 2 posts in there. One that I put in going over courses, and then the other one that Tim Miller put in going over the digital products as a whole. That goes into the pricing. So if you want to check out what's happening with that, I would go over to the forums and look at that. But yes, it is in the same way that the member areas add-on is extra. If you want to get those higher levels of video hosting or lower transaction fees, you're going to pay for the add-on separately.
And the forms, what about forms of inputs? You can test their understanding. I think we were talking about this earlier with quizzes, that's something that we're still working on.
That's something that's coming. You are going to be able to have a quiz. It'll look like you would expect an online quiz to look, where you go from question to question and answer, and you see if you're right or wrong, and then you'll get a score at the end.
Awesome.
I imagine some of you can get pretty creative with maybe forms, and I want to see what happens in the meantime, maybe.
Definitely. All right, so I'm gonna find for this final question. Let's see. Looking for something that covers a lot of ground here. And something that we haven't talked about yet. All right, this one. All right, because I know people are going to be using this is like maybe another thing for the future, but because many of the circle members interact in a community, many of them have their own communities. Are there any discussions about community interaction features once they're building up this community of course learners?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first place we would start with that is maybe with some integrations, Slack, Discord, other ways to put these kind of community forums into a Squarespace site or automatically link out to them. Community forums are great, but they also require a lot of management. So we don't know that we necessarily want to ask our users to take on that load. So I think like an integration would be the place we would start for some of that. And we're also discussing like putting in some kind of Q&A for the lessons. So, like I imagine course providers get a lot of the same question over and over. So if they could have a way to expose that question in the lesson itself, might lessen their load. So those are 2 ways we're kind of looking at that community feature.
Well, this is fantastic. Thank you for taking all those questions, Adam.
Yeah,
It's been
absolutely.
such a delight to have you here, and really great work. I know everyone here is excited about courses, and thank you for coming and showing it to us.
Anytime. I've been at Squarespace for a long time, over a decade. Started as a designer, then I was a software engineer, and now I'm a product manager. And this is one of the coolest things I've worked on since I've been here. Like I'm really excited about giving people a way to get their knowledge out there and make some money off it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, awesome. Well, come back sometime to Circle Demos, Adam, next time you got something to share.
You got it.
Yeah. Great. Well, so excited to have everybody joining us here, learning about new stuff coming up at Squarespace. Courses, of course, is such a great way for anybody to be selling their knowledge, selling their services, upselling skills that you already have. As I mentioned, the Circle Live interview with Puno is on the forum, so that's a great place to start thinking about selling your courses. If you joined us late today, we'll be sending the replay of this video in a follow-up email and a forum post. So if you had a question that didn't get answered, I'm so sorry. Try to get to as many of them as I can with as much relatable coverage as I possibly could. But there's just too much excitement. So definitely in that forum post that we send out, you can ask that question, and we will be checking those regularly and trying to get you those answers as soon as possible. For us, though, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to Taylor for being in the chat and providing some resources. Definitely review some of those, that KB guide on how to get started with courses. And if you joined us at the beginning and you shared a course idea, whether it's witchcraft or selling on Squarespace or anything else that you're going to be putting into a course, I can't wait to see what you do with it and what you build. As always, I'm Sam C. Thank you so much for joining us today on this Circle demo.